Okay, everyone, we're back here on the mothership. We are on our journey to the microcosmos. Hope you all are enjoying our little scientific investigation. We are here in the east wing of the ship. We're going through tower number 5 on Fantastic Friday. And this is bin number 4. I almost said 5, but it's not. So, last week we were working with moisture issues. In these tanks, we are working very hard to keep aerobic conditions within the substrate. So our goal is to maintain porosity of both oxygen, nitrogen, other atmospheric gases, and moisture. We are not 100% worried about moisture in this environment since it won't be raining, but what I have found, see this newspaper. We added the newspaper to be able to absorb moisture. It was a brand new newspaper when I put it in here. And we will show you what's happening. This outer edge, you see this really light brown layer. That's where the moisture is been allowed to escape from this tank. The top is bubble wrap, and then there's a vinyl, another sheeting that blocks out the lighting. Come on, guys. I was kind of waiting for them all to hop on off here, but guess what? Looks like we have 2 layers of newspaper, so this would have been the old layer. And so what we are finding is working really well as a way to, I am actually going to see if this one will break up some when I try to, I'll roll it back out here on the top layer after I show you what it is that I want to show you. Yes, I'm taking a few seconds to remove the wisps. I can't help myself. You'll get bored and click off the video, and that's fine. You won't get to hear all this scientific information that I'm going to pass along and my findings. Okay, so this would have been the new newspaper. It is not completely saturated with moisture, but it is very close. It is darn close to it. Now, my question is, how did all that moisture get there on the top newspaper when the leaves below it are dry? Maybe the leaves below it just don't take up as much moisture. I don't know. But, okay, so we'll move this off to the side now. But see how that heavy, wet newspaper makes a wonderful base to roll that up and keep it from flipping open again. Woohoo! Try that. This, it's still, okay. See how I can pull it apart pretty easily? That's what I'm going to want to do to mix it in the top layer here where the where it's drier, because we're going to do a complete flip on this bin. Pretty much we'll probably mix in the top layer with the middle layer so that it's a little moisture is a little more evenly distributed, and probably thinking that's not going to upset the worms as much as there being a super dry layer on the bottom. We're going to play around with that, though. We'll do more investigating in some different bins. We'll try different things in different bins. The good thing is I got 50 bins here to work with. So that's always when the learning gets started, when you can really go big or go home. That's our motto here at The Flip. So comment below if you're going to think about, doing the flip. It's a lot of thought. I'll say that. You better be a thinker. Okay, so here's our top layer. We're just disturbing it a little, making the worms decide to head south for the moment. I'm seeing there are some food fragments left. Not a ton. These I don't know if those didn't get froze down quite enough, and that's a very big possibility. And so they're holding out a little longer. That's kind of a good, there's all kinds of little buggers going in and out of there. It's kind of a good note that if you want your food sources to break down a little slower, maybe don't freeze the potatoes and stick them in there, and then worms can just slowly gnaw away at them. And then maybe it won't end up in a anaerobic situation like some of those really gooey ones like that. Okay, so that's getting broke down maybe super too fast, creating some anaerobic conditions, which we don't want. And that's the nice thing about a potato. If it doesn't, so that's warming up there. If it doesn't freeze down like that, those cells continue living. Let's say that. Let's call it living. And so even though these, oh, well, I should have taken that off. That's why I take them off and remove them. We will rank it at the end. So as the worms just slowly chew away at it, it will not rot. So that may be something to think about. I know everybody wants these things out of these bins 3 weeks time if you're breeding, but maybe when you move things over to the nursery and you want to feed more. I have not tried this, so do not, maybe somebody else can do the investigation on that one, but if you want to feed them more, but you don't want to have to do it so often, maybe that sliced live potato and carrots may be your answer. Maybe the worms will just slowly munch on them and the bacteria won't be able to hit it quite as fast as the worms. Like, you know, we chew a potato that's raw. I like raw sweet potatoes really well. And then it will just re-heal the part where we've chewed it. So it doesn't rot. It will put a new scar like across that. So as the worms are chomping, I'm sure the potato is using its energy to re-heal. So that's an own living predator-prey system where that potato is trying to survive, and it is actually working against the rot. I know that in your breeder bin, since you got this calculated, so you're only feeding them as much as they will eat, which is a wonderful thing because then you don't run into any anaerobic conditions. But I'm nowhere near professional enough to reach that point where I know exactly how much these worms, while these numbers are still multiplying, how much they eat. So I am running into some trouble. I found when we looked at the banana, we have got some low oxygen indicators there. And so we need to work on reducing the amount of food that I'm putting in here. I really don't want to I just don't want to feed them every 2 days, you know, to feed them less, to get them to eat it all. I don't know. Maybe that's the maximum that I'll be able to pull off in a bin this size, okay? You only have enough worms to feed them every 2 days to prevent rot. Please, somebody in a laboratory with 1 million worms, figure that number out in this size of a bin, if it isn't already out there for us to find. This bin is looking amazing. Population isn't probably as wild and crazy as I thought, but that's okay. Tower 5 was my last probably bin to start, so these guys are still a little lagging behind. If I get through one more week of not having to divide these things, because I do my research on reproduction reduction, then I may be able to pull some of the bins that are overpopulated and add to some of these that are a little underpopulated yet. And then once we make it on into the final phase where we don't have to do any of those calculations anymore, woohoo! Won't that be a fun day? You know what it'll be on that day? Mardi Gras Day. I'll be able to throw these beads away. Oh, that's what we're going to call it. When I am professional enough to throw the beads away, we will call that Mardi Gras Day. When I no longer have to track any of this stuff, it's all done by date, and that's it. All my numbers are calculated. I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there that's already done all of this. But I think for my purpose, there is not, because I am not wanting to separate the cocoons. I'm not wanting to pull out and breed for worms. I am wanting these amendments, but I'm not wanting to separate and pull out the castings either. See what I'm saying? I'm wanting all of this contained and kept together. This is probably one of my best bends here as far as my moisture level goes. Very, very beautiful bend. I would almost say I could definitely leave the lid on this one. So let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. With these moisture levels, let's just put a, I'm wanting to say, let's hang. Okay, I worked in the one newspaper and the other one is wet inside there. Do I keep using the wet one or do I take it out? See, what I hate is hanging over there if it has castings or wisps stuck to it. This has wisps in here, lots of wisps. So maybe I should just tuck that one off to the side. It's going to ruin our investigation, but numbers are really good here in the bottom, so they must like the moisture level down there better. So I've got to get this moisture level thing perfected. That wisp there was like nearly translucent. It was such a baby. And then maintain that level once I get it to where I feel. Since all of them are down there, they're foraging down there where they like that super moist area, which worms do like. And, okay, I'm going to just go ahead, because we have so many wispies, I do not want to be rolling them around. We're just going to go ahead with the dump. Woohoo! Dump truck! There we go. Look at that. That worked a lot better, didn't it? Or a lot faster, anyway. I know y'all want me to speed this up, probably, but guess what? Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuck worms here, so I'm going to take a second. Okie dokie. To try and drag a few of these guys off. Not all the wisps, though, okay? But there's some biggies. Some really big ones stuck here. The wisps, I'm letting them stay, and we are just going to, a lot of juveniles in here. The wisps we're going to spray, and I'm not crazy about getting it all over the side of the bin like that, but okay, maybe we could have put some wool in here to help suck some up and feed our fungi. But maybe we'll do that on the next one, just to see how that goes. I don't want anybody to desiccate, so I'm going to add some spray here to buy me some time till I get into the next bin. Ta-da! Okay, and then we got some wispies here on our fingers. Gosh. Oh, get over it. Make our tunnels. Woo! Okay, tunnel. And then we'll give them their coffee. They love their coffee just like me. Just try to get it to go on both the sides. probably put a little more than a half in there, that's for sure, but okay. Give them a little bit of the oatmeal on the bottom. I don't know what all's in there. Somebody gifted me this baby, and it's got oatmeal though for sure. It seems like almost like that rice bran. Was that what that used to be called? Rice bran. Ooh, that's a nice chunky piece. Give them a couple skinnies and then chunky piece. I don't think this one had a whole lot of food left, so let's give him one more boost of an aphrodisiac. While I feel like we have not reached reproduction reduction yet, even though I have no clue, I'm just getting y'all to start looking it up. Oh, you newbies. I'm a newbie, can you tell? Look at me. Don't I stick out like a sore thumb? Listen, I'm just making agriculture amendments here. So help me out some. Oh, I hope I didn't overfeed that tower. Too much of that oatmeal. I think that's what creates that protein poisoning. Okay, that'll get them in there, get them mating. Hopefully they'll lay another huge round of cocoons and bump up our numbers one more time before we move them to the nursery. Oh, I don't know. Should we... Okay, what do we got? 2 weeks left in January. What are we on, the 19th? About 2 weeks left. So let's say we do our nursery bins the first Monday of February. How about that goal? How about I make sure that I have everything ready for the... I'm going to grab just a few more leaves in this bin. Don't worry, I've got a nice little setup right here where I can grab some. I'm keeping all my supplies that I kind of use right around the table, and most of it is all on wheels so that if I need to, you know, clean, I actually just wheel everything to the other side of the room. All my nursery tubs that I'm going to use are on wheels. The Incredible Hulk is on wheels. His temperature right now is showing 87.6. So I turned him a little bit yesterday, some of his bedding. So he's got the extra nice crawlers. They'll probably love that temperature, but I'm not sure. I mean, yes, I think they will. Okay. Now, let's put this just back on here. Oh no, we were going to put the lid back on this one. We felt like it was good to go with moisture levels. But I want to put a new, okay, so this is the new. The old one was below it. So this is the new newspaper. I'm not seeing a whole lot of castings or wisps on this, and yet we had a lot of wisps in this bin. So we obviously, I think this one was below the old one. It was. So I can put this, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I know what happens is as this dries out during the week, all the castings fall on the floor. So I'm going to get like a cookie sheet, maybe an industrial size cookie sheet, and I'll put it underneath the rack so that when I pick these up to use them next time, you will collect your castings. Okay, so there is one that needs to dry. Here is, I'm going to use the really old one here. I'll tell you why I hesitated using it before was because it was from a European night crawler bin. So this is completely dry now. So it's being reused, right? I don't think I'm going to want to put a brand new newspaper in every time. And then find that something should go with that one. I'm looking for wisps up here. I believe the wisps may have taken off because we did dry this out quite a bit by putting that newspaper on there. So I think our wisps are gone from up here, and I think they went down. Remember what I did was I sprayed the top of that one newspaper so that if the wisp did come down, they didn't dry out. They didn't desiccate when they went to the top of that newspaper. Okay. That's the plan, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see what happens next week. We did not spray the top of the newspaper because the wisps were already off of the let's rank this bin. Numbers are good in here. I'm going to keep with the medium populations. Probably rank my castings a little darker this time. Cocoons are low. I'm going to stick with low. Population still medium. My moisture I'm going to say is medium. That's why we got the lid on. That was going to be our new rule, even though on some of those we did not change over. And for right now, it's alright to break the rules just a little. Alright, we'll put this bin on. Hope you make it back. We will be in bin number 5. And in bin... Woo! We got a worm crawling all the way over here. That's okay. We'll just stick him back in there. I think he came out of the backup bucket because there is a potato in there. Stop back by anytime you'd like. Come visit here at this channel. We are ready to roll on to the next bed.